So I want to share a really important lesson around traffic. So when you're building an online business, obviously traffic is simply getting eyeballs onto a given part of a funnel or a page or essentially a link. Essentially someone who is that can eventually turn into a solid client, a business builder, a customer for you. And so back in 2009, I had a huge disaster happen in my online business, and it wasn't only myself. It turns out that it was a huge percentage of top leaders from all around the marketplace. In fact, really interesting. Back then, they were my mentors, and I was looking up to, and now they are like people in my phone. I just talked to some of the people today. And really, it's cool how far you can come over time. And I want you to remember that's the theme of how you're going to be able to achieve anything. And you're going to be able to one day share this exact same type of story if you just get started. But here's what's interesting. You can't just get started and go all over the place. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened in 2009, but before I do, I want to set like a precedence of where my heart was at around shooting this video for you is that I want you to strongly consider, and I would say if you're one of my clients, this is all like, I'll force you to do this. Now, I know you're not my client. I'm some random Jason guy on Facebook, so this is for you to consider. And that idea is, will you be willing to focus on one traffic source until you master it and you're getting the results you need from it? And by results you need, what I mean is, are you getting conversions? Are you making money? And even more so, are you making profit? Because it's one thing when you're first getting started, trying to sort things out, eventually getting like your first sale from a new campaign or a brand new traffic source you're learning. That's like super, super exciting, and deservedly so. You should absolutely celebrate those things. But if you had to pay $500 to make a $100 profit, or a $100, let's call it profits, how long can you go on paying $500 to make $100? You can't go very long. Even Bill Gates or some like the richest in the world, they can't do that for long, and they wouldn't do it for long because we all know where that leads to. And so that's why you have to really focus on profit. And one of the initial goals you really want to strive for is like, spend 500, make 500. That's a really, really great goal, one-to-one, to where you're breaking even, where you're basically exposing your business and getting things for free. And then from there, continuing to apply 80-20 type of principles, Pareto's principle. And that's an entire other video. You can look around my page and see if that one's done yet. But that basically means continue to focus on one thing and find what's really going to work the best, because 20% of your efforts are going to produce 80% of your results. So if you create 5 separate ads, what it really means is that it's likely 20% of them, which is 1 out of 5, is going to produce you 80% of your results. And your job is to figure out which one that is going to be. So I'm talking specifically some paid traffic strategies, but that's absolutely something you want to look for. But here's the deal, is that you need to focus on a single traffic source until you've mastered it, or else you're going to be doing this everywhere. $500, make 100, make 200 here. And keep spinning your wheels, not really dialing it down where you really need to, and then jumping off of that traffic source, going to another one, to where what you're doing is just jumping all over the internet and then deciding nothing works, and what really didn't work was your focus, your commitment, your own efforts. That focus, that commitment, that consistency, which also behind that takes a lot of faith, it takes a lot of belief, it takes a lot of it takes a lot of good coaching and loving both to yourself and from the people in your community. That's why it's super important. Your life becomes the sum of the 5 people around you. And so you need to surround yourself by the people getting the results and winning and doing the things you're trying to do. And you will automatically take on their mindsets, what's in their heart, their energy. It will all just become a part of your life. And you will much more quickly, you'll compress time down to get the results you're looking for. And so what you need to do is focus. And let's say you spend that first 500 and you make a couple hundred, you know you can't do that for long, but you discovered some stuff in the data. You do not advertise to get immediate results. Like, don't, another recommendation, don't go into campaigns thinking you're going to spend $100 and make 200, you're right away. What's going to happen is you're going to spend $100, and what you get in return for that, very lucky and randomly, you will sometimes get a profit or break even. More often than not, when you're first starting something, especially on a brand new traffic source, what you're going to get back is feedback. And that is more valuable than anything. And I'm talking a lot about paid traffic in this video. That's because 1998, fresh out of college, I'm working at Lockheed Martin, literally launching rockets up into space. Amazing thing, is one of the software engineers there. And this guy is quitting. He had been there for 5 or 10 years. He was making way more money than me. I was making $39,000 at the time. His name is Dave. And I was this curious guy. And I had just read, I was just starting to read my very first books. And I just remember, I was just super curious. I go and ask him, I corner him in the hallway, and I'm like, Dave, what are you doing? That's amazing. You're walking away from 75, 80,000. I remember he was around those ranges, and he was like, he wanted to start a business. I don't remember any details. I don't think he told me, but he was like, he had some young kids, which I didn't understand at the time. Now I have 3 of my own. And I remember him just saying he wants to be there with his family, and he really wants to go for it and start this business. He can always come back and be a software engineer. And I remember that, guys, this was literally 20 years ago. It may be 19 and a half years. It was definitely in 98. And I remember, I can still picture the hallway and the window behind him and the look on his face. And because here's what he said. He said, Jason, you can always get more money, but you can't get more time. And I shared that, and I've thought about it hundreds and thousands of times in the last 20 years, because I've realized that's the most precious thing on the planet in all of our human experience is time. Because we can't get it back. And I'm not going to go deeper into all of does time even exist and what does it matter, past and future, just have to live right now. What I'm talking about is that if you have a choice in your life to spend money or time, do whatever it takes to find a way to rather spend money so you're not investing your time if you don't have to. Now, if you have to and you're scrapping, all of us have been there at one point or another, you definitely do it and take massive action and make it happen. But this is specifically around paid advertising because here's a great example. OPM, other people's money. I sincerely believe it is in everybody's best interest to go leverage other people's money, other people, in this case being a bank, being a credit card, which is what a bank is, and being a third party that you borrow capital from them and then go use that to grow an asset in an online business and create that into much more cash flow and then pay that off. I'm not preaching on you should go get in a bunch of debt. I am saying you need to strongly consider it is much better for your life to go get some OPM, other people's money, and invest that into your business versus you just grinding away 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 hours a day every day. And if you even have that much time, most people have jobs or other businesses, and that they typically create an online income within 2 or 3 hours a day is pretty typical, at least 1 hour. I'm talking about the people that have success. The people that don't, they mess around. They spend minutes a day. And so, and the way around that is for you to leverage money and figure out one ad source and leverage that into an income, because it always happens. You take that feedback you're getting and you adjust things, and that's what turns into profits. And that's what allows you to go from spending 500 up here and getting 200 or 300 back to soon after you adjust, you dial some things in, you learn from the data. That's a key thing. You learn from it. You don't just do the same thing banging your head against the wall. You get some good mentorship, you get some coaching around that, and now you spend 500, you spit back 400 or 500 or so, dial things in, get some more advice, get some more coaching, spend 500, 600, 700, 800 back. Holy cow, I'm finally in profit. And then it comes down to how quickly you're spending that 500. Is that monthly? Is that weekly? Is that daily? Is that hourly? I can give you examples of every single one of those. And so I don't mean examples, I mean like real life people literally doing that and well beyond right now in every single one of those. And so you get to choose where you fall on those scales. You also, it's very much like the magnifying glass. So many of us, when we were little kids, we take a magnifying glass out in the sun and we go to aim it down. You like burn a hole in a piece of paper as long as you're holding it still, which represents one traffic source. What happens when you move the magnifying glass? Like, oh wait, it's not working, and you're just moving it around all day. You never get to burn a hole in the paper. You never have the success you deserve because you're jumping around with shiny object syndrome everywhere. And so find something that is a good match with you. By the way, you're seeing this on Facebook. Probably you may be seeing this on YouTube or other places as well. Facebook right now is one of the absolute best places to put anything. And I told you I would share a story with where all this came from. And that's what I'm going to end this with, is that in 2009, I was running with something called Google AdWords. It was like what we currently have, what Facebook is doing for all of us on the paid ad scene. That's what Google AdWords used to do. And what happened back then is that literally within a period of, this all happened over like about 2 months or so, all of the mentors I was following at the time lost their AdWords account, and I lost mine. Now, I was coaching some people way back then. Not many of them lost, but they weren't doing very much. They weren't really high profile in Google AdWords yet. The vast majority of every person I know, and I can rattle off a whole list of names that if you've been around the scene for at least 5 to 8 years, you would know basically everyone I'm mentioning, the biggest players. So many of us lost our AdWords accounts back then. And what happened was Google decided to do a massive change, and basically they weren't going to allow anybody to go help others make money online, like the entire niche of all that, whether it's direct sales, affiliate marketing, anything. They decided that wasn't good for their search engine, so they just started banning accounts, like literally countless thousands, tens of thousands, like in mass. It was amazing. And so, and it didn't feel too good, and it was super scary because that was what I had finally got some success in, and all of a sudden I had to switch gears. That's why when you do finally master a traffic source and you start outsourcing things, you start scaling things up, you also then move on and master another traffic source because of what I just shared around Google AdWords and the things that can happen. So remember, choose something. I highly recommend Facebook ads. Stick with it. Keep your focus there. Have faith. Be surrounded by the coaching, the mentoring, whatever you need so that you're not just spinning your wheels all crazy. And make sure that you are sticking there and committing to it and getting through all the adversity and persevering until you win. Great saying. You win or you lose. That's it. Sorry, that's totally not the right saying. I'm just making sure you're paying attention. You win or you learn. That's what the saying is. And how it works is that you either spend 500 and you make more than 500, you're into profit, you keep going. You keep learning how to make that even better to where 500 doesn't just turn into 6, 7, it turns into 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, well beyond, and you just keep cranking from there. Turn 500 into 5,000, and that's the kind of stuff you can do over time with commitment and focus. That would be a win. Learning would be I spent 500, holy cow, I got horrible results. I got $0 back. I got one person that they said they just filed bankruptcy in their, they said they want to buy my $1,000 program, but they don't know, they can't even, they're going to start going door to door to try to collect the money for it. Like, really, that's some great feedback of like, how did a person like that even get interested? They shouldn't even have seen the ad ever in the first place. It's also feedback of like, where the heck are all the buyers? So you either win or you learn. That's what I mean by feedback. So remember, stay focused on one single traffic source. And as you stay focused on one traffic source, you will gain confidence. And as you gain confidence, you'll start to get more and more results. As you get more and more results, you'll start to realize it's a lot easier than you thought. And as you're realizing it's easier, that's when you start to get your gifts out to the world and make an even deeper impact on the world around you, starting with your internal world, starting with your finances, with your business, because as you master these skills, there's the same skills you can master other areas of life and really choose to have that life that you deserve, that humanity needs you to live. So that's exactly what's possible for you. And now it's your job to go focus and go commit to it. And remember, commitment is doing the thing you said you would do long after the mood you set it in has left you. What that means, you commit to it now, you're going to feel frustrated, you're going to get beat down, you're going to feel like quitting. Those feelings are not being committed if you bail. What commitment is doing the thing you said you were going to do long after the mood you set it in has left you. So you don't feel good that day, you go crank it and you make that day, you go either win or learn that day anyway. You have a fever that day, you go do all your stuff and you work on your business and you still either win or learn, you figure it out, and that's how it works. So focus on one traffic source, my friend. Looking forward to seeing you in video soon. Take care.